Hello everybody, I am Sammy15, the Dragon Two here today, and today we have yet another Decklist interview with Chris Hoag, who managed to do well at this past states and even managed to get top 16 in Illinois. And today he's been gracious enough to show us his Toad list. His deck has just appeared for the most part Toad deck. There's no bats, no Manetric, no Garbodor, no Giratina. It's just straight Toad. So, before we get too much into it, why did you decide to play this deck? And why did you decide to play this deck, Chris?
Okay, so this was for Illinois States Week 1, and so in my testing, I had found that basically Night March was extremely broken, basically like best deck going into Week 1. People had written it off because, maybe Fighting Fury Belt makes it hard for it to one-shot stuff or Bursting Balloon kills it, but, it was just too good to deny, just the fact that it got Puzzle at the time. It was just really good, so I knew that I wanted to play something that would be like an item lock deck, because that's what I think Night March really suffers to. So that left me at three choices, either a Trevenant-based deck, a Vileplume-based deck, or a Seismitoad-based deck. And I originally I cut Trevenant off the list really early because my thinking was that it was inconsistent in Standard, although later in a few weeks after that I found out it really isn't. So I was down to a Vileplume deck or a Toad deck, and a couple of weeks before States happened, my friend Travis actually messaged me, and he showed me a Toad list, a straight Toad list that did well at the ECC over in Europe. And I looked at that, and I was really intrigued, considering that I had played Toad for a little bit of Cities. So I decided I'd try it out. I played a few games, and then I rolled with it. Was pretty much rolling Night March and like everything else. So I just kind of went with it.
Nice. Going into week 1 of states, which was Illinois, of course. What did you play against? In round 1,
Illinois States, right?
Yeah. What was your round 1 match?
Okay, so round 1, I went up against actually Steven Matz, who would end up getting second in the entire event. He was playing Night March Vespiquen, and I remember he flipped over, I think it was a Pumpkaboo, game 1, and I'm like, oh sweet, Night March, okay, and then he drops a Combi, and I'm like, oh yeah, Night March can play Vespiquen, this is bad, okay. So like my strategy going into that was just sort of hope I can just like red card and silent lap him into junk, and I wasn't able to do that game 1, and then game 2 I was able to execute that really well, and then game 3 I just dead drew. So, oh well. And then so that was round 1.
But hey, you have a loss against the
round
guy
2.
who's really good. Yeah, round 2. Which did you play?
Yeah. Let's see. What did I play round 2? Oh yeah, round 2 I played Mega Man Etric Jolteon. Which I thought there would not be any Mega Man Etric, which I was really wrong in assuming, because I thought that Gallade was still like really good, and I mean it still is, but I thought that would have written Mega Man Etric off, but I got paired up against it, and basically if they can get the Jolteon powered up, it's just over. There's not much you can do. Like, yeah, you can hammer off the energy from the Jolteon, but it has free retreat, and then you can just go into a Mega Man Etric and just put that energy back onto Jolteon. Which really didn't work out for me very well, so I lost 2 quick games there. So I started out 0-2.
Wow, that's not fun.
Which is pretty great. And then let's see, round 3, I was at the bottom table, feeling pretty good, and I played against a Garchomp Lucario EX deck. I 2-0'd that pretty quickly.
Wow.
Just because Garchomp's a stage 2 relies on rare candy, and they can't really play rare candy when you're using Quaking Punch.
But
so
they do have Hawlucha.
That guy didn't play Hawlucha.
Oh, okay. Oh, Lucario, you said.
Yeah, Lucario and Garchomp. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see a Hawlucha hit the field. He might have played it, but I don't think he brought it out in that matchup at all.
Hawlucha definitely would have been kind of good against you. Hawlucha definitely would have been kind of good against you.
It probably would have been pretty good, although I feel like you could probably trade pretty well with it because you're playing the Fighting Fury Belt and the Super Scoop Up, but I don't know. I didn't test fighting enough because I didn't think it'd be relevant. Round 4, I went up against Yveltal Zoroark, and I was really confident about the Yveltal matchup. Basically, all you want to do because what the Yveltal player is usually going to do is they're just going to try and go in with a bunch of Oblivion Wings and try to accelerate energy.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to do in that matchup, and what I did when I played Lucario Hammers a little bit in Cities, was just to hammer off whatever they would attach with Oblivion Wing, because like 30 damage continuously isn't going to kill you, especially while you're playing Super Scoop Ups. It's like it's the Zoroarks and the Yveltal EXs that you want to be worried about. So that was pretty much what I did, and it worked. So I 2-0'd that pretty quickly. Let's see. So that was round 4, and then what did I play round 5? I have it pulled up on my phone. I feel like I should know this, but I believe it was. I don't know. I forget round 5. All I know is that I won that round.
Okay, that's fine.
And then round 6, I went up against. Okay, so I went up against this really wacky Seismitoad, Mega Ampharos, Raichu Break deck.
What?
Yeah, I know. It was weird. It was one of my friends from Valpo, David Lopez. He's a really good guy. So game 1, he flips over a Pikachu, and I'm thinking, okay, this is like a Raichu Bats deck or something. Okay, and then he drops an Ampharos, and then a Rough Seas, and I'm like, what is going on here?
I mean, it wasn't too terrible. At that point, he was like 3-2. So
yeah, 3-2. Yeah, he was doing pretty good with it. So I was just really confused. I had no idea what to do. And the fact that he was putting out the Rough Seas, that just like Rough Seas completely kills my deck. Yeah, so I didn't really know what to do at that point. But I just Quaking Punched, and sure enough, it won me game 1. I remember I lost game 2. I think it's just because I started Lone Shaman and he was able to get a quick Raichu. And then game 3, he just started an Ampharos, didn't draw out of it, and I think I Grenade Hammered for the game. So that was cool.
When in doubt, Quaking Punch forever.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's my life motto. And then the final round 7, I went up against Trevenant Break with Bursting Balloon and Hammers, which was pretty fun. It was weird because when I was testing a little the night before with some of my friends, specifically Jeff, who was staying at my house for States, he was playing Trevenant, and we decided that in my list, Lugia was going to be really good against Trevenant just because Deep Hurricane, if you can get like a Fury Belt on that before they get the item lock off, you can one-shot Trevenant Breaks repeatedly. Which, if you're just playing like just Quaking Punch, like you're not going to be able to beat Trevenant, I don't think, because they're going to be able to overwhelm you with Silent Fears and Tree Slams.
Yeah.
So that was really good, and I just kind of went with that route. And game 1, that worked perfectly. He got 2 Trevenant Breaks set up, and I Quaking Punched early because that's the strategy in general.
Yeah.
And then I switched out into a Lugia later on and was able to just Deep Hurricane through a couple Trevenants, which was incredible. Game 2, he just got the turn 1 item lock. I couldn't respond to that at all. And then game 3, he just started like 2 Shaman, and I got a Silent Lab down and Drag carded him, and he wasn't able to draw out of it, and I just got some Quaking Punches off and won. So yeah, went from 0-2 to 5-2 somehow.
Yeah.
So,
and I believe you finished 10th. Is that correct?
Yeah, 10th. I was the highest 15 points player after Swiss. So
didn't because I know Chris, not Chris, but Steven made top, of course. Did your round 2 opponent make top?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Did your round 2 opponent make top?
Well, say that one more time. Sorry.
Did your round 2 opponent did he make top cut?
No, he didn't. I think the only person that I played that made top cut was Steven from round 1.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean that would kind of make sense. Like you did start up 0-2. I was just wondering if your second round opponent didn't make top at all. But okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you go to any other states with this deck and list, or this deck in general?
No. The other two states I went to, I ended up playing really wacky Vespiquen lists that didn't really work out too well for me, but they were fun. So I remember Indiana States, which was the one of the other two that I went to. I was originally going to play Toad, and then like all these people walking into the venue, they're just like, "Oh, Vespiquen Vileplume, Vespiquen Vileplume," and I'm like, I cannot, in good conscience, pull out Toad for this weekend.
No.
That's a really bad idea. So the people I was staying with, the MSU guys, they were playing a really wacky Vespiquen list, and they let me in on it. It was fun to play. I just am really bad at playing Vespiquen, so.
Okay. Hey, we all have those decks where just like, even though that like are technically good, we just sit there and go, I can't play this thing.
Yeah.
That's why I never was good at playing dark type decks in general for whatever reason. With Darkrai or Volto or even the new Darkrai with Zora, I could just not get it now.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So alright. So did you make top 16 or did you get any points? The other two states.
No, I went 3 and 4 at Indiana, and then I went I think like 2-2-2 and dropped from Kentucky. So. Just faced some really bad matchups. And when I played Vespiquen Vileplume, I just like lost too many coin flips to go first, and you need to go first with that deck to win.
Yeah,
so,
basically.
Fun fact, actually, round 3, I played against Alex Hill, and I was staying with him, and we were both playing Vespiquen Vileplume, and he won the coin flip and went first, and I still somehow managed to beat him that game. So I don't know. I think it's funny how that deck is basically if you win the coin flip, you go first, but I somehow. I managed to overcome that somehow. I don't know. So that's random, but.
Alright. Now going on to the list and the check internal. You already told us kind of why you were playing Toad, but why just straight Toad with the one of Lugia? Why not Toad Manectric or Toad Tina or Toad Bats or anything like that?
I think my reasoning, I don't really like Totina in Standard. I mean, I know it's a powerful deck. I just don't like it in Standard just because I feel like it's a lot more clunky than its expanded counterpart, and I don't like to play decks that are that clunky. And then Toad Manectric, I just don't think that you should be playing Toad in Standard without hammers, unless like Toad isn't like the main counterpart of your deck. And so just the straight Toad option I think was just really good because the ability to like make your Toad survive with a bunch of like scoop ups and all that kind of stuff. And just be able to like Quaking Punch for games, I think is just really good. So that's kind of just why I went with straight Toad. And also starting with Manectric in certain matchups is just scary. So yeah.
Fair enough. Now let's go on to your the list itself and some of the choices you made. First off, why did you decide to? Actually, I was going to ask you about the Lugia, but you already told us about that. How come there's no Hoopa?
That's a great question. I didn't actually test that. I feel like in hindsight, Hoopa probably would have been, I don't know if it would have been that big, just because like you're playing so many you're not playing a ton of Pokemon. I think like there's 7 in the list. And so being able to like Hoopa, you're going to get too many Pokemon out, and I think that makes too many Lysander targets, which can break the Quaking Punch lock. I will admit I didn't really test it, but I don't know if that'd really be good in hindsight, especially since it has like a 2 retreat cost and like no attack that is usable with DCE, whereas like Shaman and Lugia and Toad, if they get Lysandered up, you can throw a DCE on it and swing with it or retreat. So
yeah. Actually, I meant to ask you this before I started talking about the list itself, but were there any changes to the list you wish you made or you wish you did not make?
Changes for the list. I don't know if I would run the Puzzle of Time again that were in the list originally. In testing, they were really nice to get back like hammers and double colorless energy and stuff like that. But throughout the tournament, I never really found myself doing that quite a lot. I found myself like just dead drawing maybe like once or twice and having to use the Puzzle of Time to like rearrange so I could top deck a Sycamore or an Ultra Ball to get a Shaman or something like that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it wasn't really like too game changing. I feel like I might have liked Bursting Balloon in there. I feel like that could have made my Vespiquen matchup a little bit more bearable, because if you Quaking Punch them, that does 30, and they either attack into you and get knocked out if you Quaking Punch that Vespiquen, or they just don't attack into you, you just throw another one on and you just keep Quaking Punching. So I probably would have liked Bursting Balloon in there. So
anything else you wish you would change or not change?
I don't think there's anything else that I'd really want to change. I think the list worked out relatively well for week 1. So it's a straightforward list, and it's a lot of fun to play, as weird as it is to say that it's fun to play Toad. But
yeah, I don't think I heard too many people say, yeah, I like enjoying Toad, that are, and like more often than not, those people who do like during playing Toad. They're a little trolly. Would you put yourself in that category, like a bit of a troll?
I wouldn't say I'm that much of a troll, although I guess you could say that because like pretty much all the decks I played at Cities were hammers-based decks, so I guess you could say I'm a troll.
But you've always been nice and fun to play against, so yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Since for those of you who do not know, me, Chris, Hoag, do live in Illinois. Actually, don't you live in Indiana now?
I go to school in Indiana,
Okay.
but my hometown is Illinois, so.
Yeah. And we have of course played against each other several times at least a couple times a year. So
yeah, probably in league challenges mostly.
Yeah, mostly league challenges.
Yeah.
He's beat me several times. I beat him several times. The most recent time we played was this past Cities, where I did beat him. Unfortunately.
Oh yeah. On Bulidos's video. Where you're playing Drum, and I was playing good old Lucario, and I just can't beat Bronzong. So.
Yeah. After that, you were like my last win of the day before I just lost the last two straight. Because after that, I just needed to win one more, and I was in. Then I lost to Sarah Beckworth, then Yoshi. So that was just a fun day for me. Then I got sick.
I started 4-0 at that one, and then after I lost to you, I was 4-1, and then I lost another and was 4-2, and then I won my last one since it was a 7-round Cities, and I got 9th.
Yeah.
So. Never lucky.
Well, was there anyone who made was there anyone that was X and 2 that made that Cities? Do you remember? They made top 8?
Yeah, there was one. It was Franco Yamas, I believe it was, with Mega Mewtwo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh darn! If I would have won my last round against Yoshi, you probably would have made top as well.
Probably.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that, but back on track.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I won a Cities the week after, so it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you won like 2 Cities this past year, didn't you?
No, I won 1 and then I top 8'd 3. Okay. And all the 3 that I top 8'd, I lost in top 8 to some variation of a Gallade deck. So
Gallade was the fate of your existence.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Right.
And then when I won that Cities, I didn't play any Gallade, and so it's all good.
So yeah, back on track. Let's see.
About
the list. We already discussed do I know Hoopa? Crushing him. Let's see. Well, for the most part, this looks like I've yet to see another deck of this kind for the most part. So this looks very fairly standard. But why did you decide to play the Giovanni though? There's something kind of.
Well, Giovanni is just sort of like my little go-to card. I've loved it ever since it came out in Breakthrough in November. I pretty much I hate Professor Birch, and I guess Giovanni doesn't really function as like a draw card, but it functions really nice as like a pseudo option. You can either draw cards with it or you can do extra damage. And I think that with the straight Toad deck, it's nice to do 60 damage to like a Pumpkaboo or like a Froakie.
Oh yeah.
Just sort of like niche things like that, or if you need like the last 20 damage to like finish something off with a Lugia. I actually did that against Lucario. Garchomp, I won the game with a Deep Hurricane with a Fury Belt and a Giovanni's to knock the Lucario out in one hit.
Nice.
So I guess it's just nice there. So, and the full art looks cool. So.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. Why did you decide to play? Why did you decide to play Silent Lab over like several other states people were playing, like Parallel City or Parallel City or like yeah, there it is.
Like Rough Seas or something like that.
Not Rough Seas, but Team Aqua's base, Secret Base. Yeah, that's.
Oh, okay. I think I ended up going with Silent Lab just because since I was playing Red Card in the list. I thought that the combination of Red Card or Judge with Quaking Punch and Silent Lab was just way too good, because without Silent Lab, they could draw into a Shaman and just, draw into something really good, whereas if you play a Silent Lab, they're not able to use Setup unless they, hit the nuts, which is really unlikely with Toad after you, Quaking Punch them. So I thought that combo was way too good to pass up. I mean, Team Aqua's base, I guess that could be considered. I didn't really venture that far. Parallel City, sometimes there are awkward situations, and you want a full bench or something. and not like a bunch of 3. So I just didn't really think Parallel City fit well in the deck.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I was gonna say something along the lines about Toad, but okay, there it is. That's what I was thinking. That's right. Found my train of thought. Why the 3 water? Just because, you know, to use Grenade Hammer if you need to?
I think. Yeah, basically, if you need to use Grenade Hammer, it's also nice to power up Lugia if you need to like Arrow Ball or something for a certain amount of damage. Because I remember the list that did well at the ECC originally had 4 water energy. I thought that was way too much, so I cut it down to 3. And it worked out nice because I was able to, you know, get some water energy and like close out games with Grenade Hammer. Grenade Hammer was also pretty nice against Mega Man Netric, even though I like lost to it. But being able to Grenade Hammer them was pretty nice. I also tried Fighting Energy with Regirock. That didn't really work out too well, but probably should have played it with all that main Netric I played. So, yeah, that was really the only reason, just to Grenade Hammer and such.
All right. Final question. How many championship points were you sitting at before going to states in general? How many championship points do you have now? Do you feel comfortable making your invite for Worlds?
So before states, I was at 110. That was all cities points. I am bad at getting league challenge points. And I got 30 points off states, so that put me at 140, and I just got 4th place at a league challenge, so that puts me at 150. I'm not entirely sure if I'll get a Worlds invite. I am hitting up, I want to say like 2 regionals or something, and then there's nationals, and I still have league challenges to fill, so if I can just, you know, do pretty okay at 1 regionals and then do pretty okay at nationals, I might have it. But if not, it's not the end of the world. So I'll have fun playing Pokemon in the meantime.
And just win a regionals and call it a day, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's easy. Yeah.
No, just everyone can win a regionals. It's something even scrubs can do.
Yeah.
Not that you're a scrub at all, unlike me.
No, you're not a scrub. Don't worry.
I have 30 championship points. I'm a scrub.
That's 30 more than most people. Don't worry.
Fair enough, fair enough. So, yeah, thank you once again for doing this video with me, me today, and sharing your list. And thank you for anyone who's tuned in to watch this video. Please like, subscribe, all that same stuff. Stay tuned for future content, and I shall see you guys, hopefully, next time.